attached the whole text of the person that shot this. His name is Gary. He's been sitting on this video footage for a while. He says he wants it shared to the world, so we're going to do that right now. Preston and Dr. J, hey, thanks for joining us.
Hey,
always.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, before we get to the video, I want to ask you, Preston, what got you interested first in this USO phenomenon?
Well, it started actually when I was researching a wave of sightings over Topanga Canyon. This was back in the mid-1990s, actually. And I started to get a lot of reports of these ocean-going UFOs right off the Southern California coast here. And, you know, at first it was just one or two, then it was like around 10, and I started paying attention to it. And I put a chapter in my book, UFOs Over California. And that's when I started getting more reports, and one thing kind of led to another. And I've got about 100 reports now of these objects coming in and out of the water. And not only in this area, but across the world, for that matter.
Dr. J, I know Malibu's a hot spot, and I think you're going to be quite amazed with this video. Dr. J, what's your impression of Malibu, this underwater base, and many sightings of UFOs entering and exiting the Pacific Ocean?
It's funny you said that. Tomorrow's guest is Richard Shaw, and he, of course, was approached to do a film on this shelf. As you know, Preston Dennett is not just a paranormal researcher, everything under the sun. He is the world-renowned, literally the world expert on USOs for the Pacific Ocean. And as you recall, we did a case where he investigated last year, Boy Scouts, over 200 kids saw over 200 craft over a period of 8 hours, 8 different shapes and sizes. And so I'm every time I think of USOs or anything like that, UFOs in general, Preston comes to mind. So I'd love to see more Malibu. It's too deep for us to go with scuba divers. We need a drone.
Yeah, absolutely. Underwater submersible. We've actually reached out to James Cameron himself. You know, the master of underwater discovery. He's broken records. And hopefully
Titanic, that's right.
He'd be the guy to do it. You know what? Let's get to the video right now. We're sharing the screen. I'm going to pull up the video. We've also done some enhancements that we're going to be going over. But let's first take a look at the raw along with the audio. Then we'll get to analysis as the video of our enhancements gets going. Let's get to it. Here's the video from the UK. Is there sound coming up?
No, because we're on Skype.
Here we go.
Whoa.
Yeah, to me it looks like a grained diamond-shaped UFO, but look at it closely here. The camera's a little shaky, but he has his telephoto lens going on it.
That's bizarre. Whatever that thing was that flew across, landed on the sea, floated a bit and then went under it. I filmed it.
This is quite interesting. Preston, here's the close-up.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. It's definitely a solid object, whatever it is. Now, the first impression, honestly, it looks like a balloon, sort of mylar type of thing, but as it continues, when we dive in the water there...
Look how it just gets swallowed up and kind of engulfed. Right. This slowed down footage right there. That was slowed down. Right. This is real-time video right here. And then as it makes... So we got now 2 different angles going on it.
Well, it's clearly that there's something physically out there. I mean, it doesn't look like something was, pixelated in or anything like that. You can tell by the shadows, and that this is at least a couple of feet large, possibly larger. I'm most interested in the way it hits the water like that.
Thank you for saying that, Preston. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, because as you know, Preston, right, you've actually said this yourself, these UFOs or USOs that travel underwater, and they have this gravity field around them. So when they're entering water, they're not touching water, are they?
No, I don't think they are, and that's why we see these things go in and out without even a splash. Now, this thing was moving pretty slowly, and in a manner that it is, not in a way that I would immediately point to and say, oh, this is unknown, by that I mean it's not darting around, it's not moving at super high speeds, it's not stock still in the sky. So its motion is a little bit ambiguous, and it's hard to say without actually interviewing the witness, because you can certainly get a lot of information from the witness himself.
Well,
But,
yeah, speaking of the eyewitness, let me just go over some of the testimony that he stated here, and it's in the text, and I invite you to read it as well. I don't see it here. Let me see. Let me pull it up on my Google. And what he says is quite interesting. That here it is. His name is Gary, and here's the text right here. He says,
perfect.
Yeah, there you go. If you want to read it, he's stating it from, I've never heard of BUFORA, but here he says it's my intention to never release this video for fear of being ridiculed. But I think it's time to share it. And go ahead, read what he says next, Preston.
Yeah, well, I like the first line is one that I've heard before from other people who send me their photographs and their stories, saying, I don't want, I've hesitated to talk about this, for fear of ridicule or being laughed at. And so he's telling me that, or in this email, he's saying that he sent this to BUFORA, who told him it was a flare parachute, which he says is beyond ridiculous. And no, it doesn't look like a parachute to me. It looks like a three-dimensional object. My friends have been at me to post this for a long time, so here it is. You will see that it is clearly a control. You will clearly see that it is controlled and is similar to others seen in South America. It approaches the water at an angle and straightens up before entering the sea. All right, this is perfect. We're getting a sense of what he saw. When slowed down, you will see that the UFO fires something into the sea before landing. All right, that wasn't perfectly clear on the video, but so that's even nicer to hear because this indicates to me.
Let's get back to the video real quick, and then let's see if we see any kind of flash, and we'll just play it in real time here. Let's see, right as it's entering the ocean, and then there is.
All right.
You saw something. Could that have been just a flare off, a glare off the sun or something? But he was there in person. Let's get back to the email. Here it is.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when he's describing stuff that isn't perfectly clear on the video, that's a good indication to me that he's a sincere witness, because he's telling us stuff that he wouldn't necessarily. He's not. What I'm saying is sticking exactly to what the video is showing. He's talking about what he actually saw.
Exactly.
Which speaks towards his sincerity. Yeah, it's an interesting video. You don't often see these colors of UFOs bright green. Usually they're silver and things like this. But I'm going to be honest. You do get all kinds: bright red ones, yellow, blue. So I don't know. It's an interesting video. I'm not surprised to see more and more of these types of videos coming out because we have so much technology these days. Right. Well, we got to remember there is a cover-up of this subject, and it's still active. And if you get a hold of evidence, and particularly photographic evidence and things like this, material evidence, there's a high danger of ridicule and worse. So.
I appreciate you guys both joining us right here at Third Page Moon. As we're sharing it live to the world right now, we're not exactly sure what was captured. Yeah, it could have been a balloon, or it could have been a parachute. But let me tell you, there are sightings from around the world that have a similar shape and design. And man, the way it just disappeared into the ocean there, it seemed a little suspicious. And from the eyewitness testimony, I think a balloon would look like, right?
Well, let me say this though. As a skydiver myself, that is not a parachute. And parachutes, when we jump, mine is 190 square feet. But the pilot chute, which is a smaller parachute, which launches the main parachute, is maybe 3-4 foot diameter. That is not a parachute.
Right. Nor is it. It's not a lifeboat or a life buoy or anything like that. Clearly.
Exactly.
I think the only possible thing it could be is skeptically speaking, is a balloon. But then you'd have to ask the question, what's it doing way out there? What kind of balloon is this? Are there?
And why does it suck into the water so fast?
Exactly. If it was a balloon, it would have just floated on the surface and just floated away. It seemed like it wanted to submerge, and immediately, within a second or so, it was out of sight.
Right.
Balloon would have floated on the surface if it was, lighter than air.
Well, the witness felt that it was controlled movement. So that also speaks towards it being something unusual.
Absolutely.
And another thing that's difficult to tell, even with the video, is its size. So, because we don't have anything to relate it to. The witness would probably be the more reliable person to talk to, or a photo analyst. But you can clearly see that this thing is not terribly far away. And it doesn't look extremely large.
It's a matter of interpretation on the size. I think he had his telephoto lens on it. And, at a distance, I would say the thing's no smaller than at least 10 feet in diameter. It's my judgment on how large this thing was. I don't think it was a small 1-foot balloon. It looked like a windy day. It seemed like it was stable in its own sense in the sky. We're going to keep it a skeptical eye on it. But in my opinion, it's unidentified, and that's why we shared it to you guys right here at Third Phase Moon. Appreciate it. Dr. J Radio Live. Be sure to check out his radio show. His link is in the description. And Preston Dennett, we got his links to all his incredible books that he's written in regards to the UFO phenomenon. Everybody keep your eyes on the skies. We're not alone. Blake Cousins. We'll see you again next time.
Flying object, flying object, flying.